Hi everyone, we are doing Conversations with Kellies. We haven't done one in a while and I'm super excited to have Vera. Has been a customer for years and years and years. We have over 15,000 people that can sign with us, and Vera's number is 27. So we have been together through this journey from the beginning of my business journey, dating way back to 2006.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a very sensitive subject today, and that subject is mental illness. And it touches my family every day because I have very close family members that deal with it. And when you have somebody around you with mental illness, it's part of who you are too. And I can remember when Vera and I met, and she's this charismatic, fun-loving person, and was in our store 5 days a week or more. And then all of a sudden, we didn't see her for a while, and started to wonder, where did Vera go? And so one day I called her husband, and that's where my journey with mental illness with Vera started. Vera, tell me a little bit about how you became interested in the whole mental illness arena.
Well, I have personally experienced mental illness since I was young. I'm now 81, but and been treated and been in and out of mental health clinics and hospitals, and there's such a stigma attached to it, and that's one reason why I'm doing this interview, to help remove some of that stigma, because you said it's a sensitive subject, and it shouldn't be. It's not a sensitive subject to talk about your diabetes or heart problems or whatever. So mental health should just be like any other illness. So that's why
Yeah, well, I appreciate you saying that, because you're right. I feel like it's sensitive only because I feel sensitive about it, but you really should talk about it because that's how we bring awareness to it.
Yeah.
What are the different kinds of depression?
Well, let me start by saying, I am not medically educated. I cannot give any advice or say do this or don't do that, because I'm not qualified to do that. So, but I'm speaking from experience, and what I understand is that there are several ways you can feel depressed. One is seasonal depression. Some people have seasonal depressions.
Sure.
They get more sad and depressed in the fall, for instance.
Sure.
And another thing is you get depressed if you lose a loved one, or lose a job, or lose a child, or it would be strange if you weren't depressed at those times. So that's another type of depression. And then there is clinical depression, which I have, and which has to be treated with medicine and so on.
I love that you're talking about it. And how are the ways that depression is treated today?
It's treated, you have to seek help. You have to admit that you have a mental illness. Depression is a mental illness.
Sure.
And you have to seek help, psychiatry, psychology, and ECT, and medication, and meditation.
Sure.
Group therapy. And I have been through all of that. And ECT stands for electroconvulsive therapy. They give you an electric shock to the brain, and that has a very bad rap, because it goes all the way back to a book, I think, that was written, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, yeah.
And so and when I told somebody I'd had shock treatments, they said, are they still doing that?
Yes, I didn't know
And
either.
they are still doing it, but now when I have had my shock treatments, they give you a little shot in the arm, and you basically, they give you the shock treatment, and you have a seizure. That's what electroconvulsive treatment is all about. You have a seizure, but you don't know it because you're asleep.
So what do they say that does for your brain? Just like a restart kind of a thing?
Exactly. They kind of you can kind of thinking of it as I mentioned earlier, like you said, restarting or rebooting a computer.
Right.
They don't know if it works
Or what it-
because
why it just
nobody
does.
does. But these days they give much less electricity to the brain,
Right.
and they still get whatever results there.
I think you were right on when you said people, the first thing about this, just like drug abuse and alcoholism, is you have to admit that there's the problem.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hardest part for people, is that they know because they feel depressed,
Yeah.
but they don't want to tell anybody, they
Yeah.
don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough that the people close to me will talk about it with
Yeah.
me. And so what sort of depression did you have, Vera, and how did you overcome it? Or how are you overcoming it to this day?
Well, apparently what I have experienced and my general physician said is quite normal, is that when I have entered into one of my depressive periods, it is because my antidepressants have stopped working. And he said that it's not unusual for an antidepressant to stop working after maybe 10 years. All of a sudden it doesn't work anymore. So then you have to try something else.
Right.
And it can take a while before you figure out what's helpful for you. But through medications and psychology and psychiatry and the electroconvulsive treatments, and I went to this last depression, I went to a very, very helpful mental health clinic near Grand Rapids called Pine Rest. Everybody there they were like angels. It was like being in heaven, and everybody there were depressed, but we started to feel better.
And you were dealing with it.
Yeah,
Right.
dealing with it. So I was there for 2 months, and I just came home 2 days before Thanksgiving. So this last depression is relatively
Yeah.
new.
And that was recent, and I went through that with her again, because again I thought, where's Vera?
Yeah.
And we didn't know. And again, called to find out, where's Vera?
Yeah.
And found out that you had gone through another bout, and
Yeah.
I think you find a happy place here at Kellies. So
Yeah.
when we see you come in and you're happy, it makes us feel good, because she finds a happy place here. What do you think, Vera, causes depression?
I know that nobody knows, even the psychiatrists. Because I would go back to a psychiatrist and I would say, I had the shock treatments and now I feel better and blah, blah, blah. And what do you think causes this? And he would say, nobody really knows.
Oh.
But you really need, if you are going to see a psychiatrist, you have to really research and make sure you see somebody that you can trust. Unfortunately, in this area, there is not a lot of good psychiatric help.
Yeah, I found that trying to help my people
Yes,
was that
yes.
it's a very broken system, it seems.
Yeah.
And I found the best path through it was through our family doctor.
Yeah.
Would find the right
Yeah,
connections. But if you're going to go try to search it on your own, because you don't want to even tell your doctor, or
Right.
you don't want to tell your family, but
Right.
you have to start somewhere.
You are so right. You are so right. And as far as causes, it's nothing a person does to himself or herself, or nothing you have to stop eating, or nothing that you do.
Choices that you made. Right.
Although recently, I think they are starting to look more carefully into if you have ever had any trauma, like for instance, a closed head injury. That can come back many, many years later as a form of mental problem, mental illness,
depression. Sure.
And I did have a closed head injury when I was like 6 or 7 years old. And
you don't think about it then.
no,
Right.
and I don't know, and nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Well, Vera, I super much appreciate you talking about this. Is there any last thing you'd like to say?
Well, I would like to say that if you do feel that you are depressed, by all means talk to somebody. It's so important to be open about it.
Sure. Yeah.
So many people have depression. It's ridiculous, and they don't talk about it. If you are depressed, do not isolate yourself. Do not pull the covers over your head and stay in bed all day. Although that's what you want to do. Well, maybe for a day you can treat yourself to doing that.
Sure.
But don't kind of retreat from the public. But I would say the most important thing is to seek help. And remember, when the doctor, psychiatrist, whatever, put you on medication, sometimes it can take weeks to work.
Sure.
So
Just have to
it's
keep
so
on
difficult
going.
to be it's so difficult to be patient when you feel down.
Sure.
But I hope if my openness and honesty can help one person from, for instance, committing suicide, because many people end up doing that. They see no hope, the hole is so deep and dark, you don't think you ever will survive.
Right.
So please, everybody out there who are depressed, please seek help.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's how I want to end this too, is that you just have to talk about it. And there's centers, and if you can always call Kelly's Consignments. Come in here and ask for me. I will chat with you. I've been through this with my family members, like I said, and it's not anything wrong with you, and you didn't do anything. So please share this. Let's get this out to people. Thank you so much, Vera. We've been on a long journey together.
Yeah, thank
for
you.
a lot of years. And if you need help, speak out, and we're here for you. Tomorrow is a new day, I think, and I those are words to live by. So thank you very much for tuning in. Share this with people, and let's get the word out and get the stigma erased off mental illness.